fun begins.
How's it going?
Hello.
Well, greetings, young Jedi. Hello there.
Steel City Con is worse than going to work. I don't enjoy Steel City Con. I haven't in some time. I am washing my hands. I don't recommend anyone go to Steel City Con. You know, it used to be fun, and now it's not.
So, I said no more Steel City Con. That video came out 2 years ago, and y'all have made sure to comment on it every single time a Steel City Con happens. That's 3 times a year it starts getting more comments. And I've heard some things. I've heard that certain things have improved and certain things are the same and maybe it's not so bad. And you know what? It's a convention in my backyard that I don't have to travel to. It's, you know, an hour and 40 minutes away, whatever. That's a pretty quick, decent car ride. And they have a couple of guests this time I'm interested in. And it was kind of before I was doing my in-depth Comic-Con vlogs when I was doing, you know, the Steel City Con trips. And so I've elected to return. We're going back to Steel City Con, guys. We're back in business. So here's where I'm at. I am coming back to Steel City Con to see what has happened, to show it off, to vlog it. I'll be honest, I'm going to be looking for issues because I have taken so many issues with this convention in the past. So enjoy the vlog and let's see what happens. Alright everyone, I am wristbanded up standing outside of the Monroeville Convention Center for Steel City Con. Like I said, had some bad times before, but we are going to go see what's going on, try and get some autographs, and hopefully have a good time. It's a nice local convention, and it would just be nice to enjoy coming back to it. So, I'm the King of Ohio and the gifter of second chances, so let's go. So, John Bernthal's line is pretty backed up, which he's one of the bigger names here, but I did just meet Jamie King, who voices Aura Singh in the Clone Wars and a bunch of other characters. She was one of the Force priestesses in the Yoda Force Ghost arc, and that was really cool to talk about and just really, really nice. Really glad I decided to go for her. And now I'm just trying to decide where I'm going to go next. There's a couple other autographs I want, and of course we got to check out the vendor floor. And the Pawn Stars line was really quick. I'll show you my bills when we're done, but I decided to get an 8x10 sign for my dad. He, you know, he was always a big History Channel guy, passed that on to me, and every day after school, you know, Pawn Stars, that's what we watched, so I had to pick something up for Dad. And we just got John Bernthal with Yeah, I Know. We got to go get Charlie Cox at Spookala or Scaradise now and get him to do Frank, You're an Asshole. I want to do that set so bad. We're going to go take a walk around. I was walking around with Phantom Menace Dennis a little bit ago, so I got to find him now. And I actually got a photo op, so let's make some stuff happen. I'm on my way back to the convention center from the separate building where the photo ops happen. We're going to talk about that in the wrap-up. Not mega impressed with that setup, but the photos did turn out nice, so can't complain. Let's get back in and see what's going on. right, everyone, I am home from Steel City Con, and I want to talk about my haul, my experience, wrap up the vlog, and such. So, ultimately, I gotta say, because as I said going into this, I had said before I'm writing off Steel City Con. They have organized it better. It's not a perfect convention. I still think I like a lot of others more than it, but this time was not unbearable. I think I'll start looking at it going forward purely from a what guests they get perspective. So that's where I'm at. And maybe, we go a couple more times. Maybe I can fall back in love with it. But I had a good time, an acceptable time, a good time. Yeah, not a great time, but a good time. Some of the highlights were hanging out with Phantom Menace Dennis, giving you the forever shout out, Dennis, always the GOAT. It was super fun getting just to walk around and hang out and do a little bit of shopping. And I actually got a couple things from the vendor floor, something that very much never happened before. And then I picked up a couple things from the Artist's Alley, which I usually limit myself because I am very tight on wall space. But there was a couple things I had to get. So I'm going to run through everything in the rough order that they happened and talk about what's going on. So, first thing, I did oversleep a little bit. Meant to be out the door about an hour earlier. I got there at 10:20. I wanted to be there more like 9 or slightly before so I could actually park in the actual parking lot. Had to park like a mile down the road at the mall. Or it's not a mile. It's like, half or whatever. But point being, convention center does not have the parking space for an actual large-scale convention. One of the benefits of the David Lawrence Center. But it was okay. I just hoofed it. It is what it is. If I wanted that spot, I shouldn't have overslept. So I get in the door. First thing I want to do is get in John Bernthal's line. But it was full, and they were actually just pretty much only doing the VIP people in the beginning. They were letting a couple non-VIP people line up. But for the first little while, it was just VIP. And it was all full anyway. It was capped. So I was like, whatever, I'm going to go somewhere else. So first thing I did was get in Jamie King's line, who is the nicest lady ever. And she was a little bit of a late announcement, but they got me on her. She voices Aura Singh in the Clone Wars, a really, really cool bounty hunter character. And they announced her the other day, and I really quick got on eBay and ordered a Funko, and here she is. She voiced a couple other characters, kind of like a here and there, background female voice. She was one of the Force priestesses Yoda meets in the Force Ghosts episodes in Season 7 of the Clone Wars. So, she's not just Aura, but Aura is the character with the most aura. There you go, children. I used a skibbity word. But, anyway, Jamie King, Aura Singh, in orange, very, very friendly, super glad I met her, and picture here. Because, of course, I gotta get a picture. Always gotta get a picture. Setting her back. Next, I was thinking about where to go, and the line for the Pawn Stars really wasn't that long. I saw that it was, there was maybe 20 or 30 people would be ahead of me if I got in, and then a handful of VIPs, and they were doing a pretty good mix. They weren't just, I like it when a con, VIP should have perks. I agree. I respect, you've paid more, you should get your line skips, but I like it when they let, 3 or 5 VIPs and then 1 non-VIP. Just let both lines move a little bit, the VIP faster, of course. And so it was a pretty good mix. I didn't have to wait very long. I was in line for them for maybe like a half hour. And I got to go right in, and I got right up to Rick. And, he's actually a little quieter in person. I think he kind of makes his voice a little more booming on camera, But, it was still Rick. And I got my $2 bill, my Rick Harrison $2 bill signed in a Deco Color silver paint pen. I love the Deco Color metallics. And these you can actually get from the Gold and Silver Pawn Shop merch site. You just look up Gold and Silver Pawn. It takes you to the actual website for the pawn shop there in Vegas. And then they sell t-shirts and stuff and these $2 bills. And it's actually just a sticker on the bill. I kind of wish I knew that before getting it. But because I might have picked something different. I kind of just wished it was like a printed thing. But it's okay. And yeah, it's a real $2 bill. And that's neat.
and we got to talk for a couple seconds because Chumlee was talking to someone and he was my next one, and they actually just had them next to each other. We could then just move to the next one instead of go and get in their line. And they also had a really nice thing going where if you were meeting both of them, the pair was cheap. So, I got to talk to Rick for a couple of seconds and just about growing up watching History Channel every day after school because, well, Dad liked History Channel, so that's what got put on. And then I'm on the topic of my dad, and I was like, your dad was really cool, just thanks for sharing them with us, because, the old man was the highlight of the early seasons, absolutely. And then I was like, you know what? Because my dad's a cool guy. Right there, I sprung, and I got a picture made out to my dad from both Rick and then Chum. I moved over to Chumlee's line next, and that was really cool. And here's my $2 bill, signed by Chumlee. And yeah, both of them, very, very nice guys. The thing with Steel City Con, they've struggled with a balance before, but I've been happy, at least with this. They want to be a pop culture con, but they also want to be like a Comic Con. And, sometimes they don't blend it very well. Sometimes it's nothing but, 80s and 90s, TV show actors. And nothing against that. But, man, give me one Star Wars, one Star Trek. Give me one person from something. I mean, I went for Aura Singh. I don't need a main character. And so this one was really cool. And you know what? There was plenty of cool Marvel and Star Wars going on and Harry Potter and you know what? You throw Rick and Chumlee from Pawn Stars in the mix too. Amazing, because some people love that, and I love that. So, anyway, I just gotta say, the Pawn Stars coming to Comic-Con wasn't even on the bingo card, and I'm super happy that it happened. From there, that was actually right about when I ran into Phantom Menace Dennis. Again, permanent shout out, my guy. And we started taking a little walk around the vendor floor at that point. And on that walk, I found the Indiana Jones Adventure Series Staff of Ra headpiece. I got to open it up yet. Probably not going to review it. If you think I should, tell me, but I just don't know that that's going to perform super well. But this is one of their role-play items, and it's the replica of the headpiece that Indy finds and then puts on the staff and takes to the model of the city and finds the location of the Ark of the Covenant. So, anyway, I'm going to go on a treasure hunt. But it comes with a nice little base, because most people don't have a staff for it. And it's just really, really cool. So the Staff of Ra, not the staff, but the headpiece of the staff. Really cool little replica there. And I got it for $25 if I didn't say that. So that was a really good deal. I think it was $50 or something when it came out, but not going to complain. From there, I had about an hour and a half to kill before my John Bernthal photo op. And so I elected to, see what the line was. The line for the autographs wasn't horrible, so I departed from Dennis for a little bit. And I went and I waited in a line for John Bernthal, and I got my Punisher autograph. I am super, super happy with how this turned out. Came out in white. He was moving, right? But he was still nice. He was talking to everyone. And I'm meeting Charlie Cox and the rest of the Daredevil cast at Scaradise. Used to be Spook Howla. It's in Tampa, Florida, and that's in October. So, hey, if you're going to go to that con, come say hi to me, because I'll be there. But I wanted to get Matt to do Charlie, Matt, to do the "You're an Asshole, Frank." And then, yeah, I know, from the finale episode of Daredevil Born Again. What a great show. And I didn't see a lot of people getting quotes, or anyone getting quotes, really. But I was like, hey, can you, hook me up? And he's like, yeah, I got you. So he's like, yeah, I know. And then the John Bernthal, and he draws a little Punisher skull on his autographs, which I love. And while he's doing it, I'm talking to him a little bit about how I'm going to give a Nana shout out now. My Nana, who I love very much. I tell him about how once a week, usually on Wednesdays now, I go to her house and, we hang out and we get a little to-go dinner. I make sure that, she actually gets a good dinner. She's the type that'll just sit there and graze and stuff. And so, I make sure, hey, let's get a dinner. Let's watch some shows. And she loves Daredevil. She loves him a lot. She gets excited. We'll put on Spider-Man No Way Home, and that's Daredevil, when he pops up for his cameo. So she loves it. And she likes the Punisher, but she's constantly covering her eyes like, oh, every time the Punisher does Punisher stuff. So I'm telling him this, and he's laughing. And so he told me to pass along just a message of love and appreciation to her, which will be given to her Monday, the day this goes up. But just a really, really nice guy. Didn't have a ton of time, but got to talk to him for about 15, 20, 30 seconds. And it was great. From there, that was the conclusion of my autographs. I was debating getting Steve Downes and Jen Taylor, and it really just kind of started to become a little bit of a budget issue. And I like getting an autograph and a picture, and I'm not going to get super political on it, but Jen Taylor was wearing a mask throughout the whole weekend. I saw everyone got in their pro photos with her. She still was wearing the mask there. And if you believe you need that to be safe, great. You know, I'm personally the type that's willing to take the gamble, and it kind of ruins the photo for me because it's like, it's not really you. It's like if you're wearing, you know, a baseball hat and sunglasses, it's, you know, the Marvel disguise, you know, the COVID mask hides a lot too. But so that was unfortunate. But I did get to talk to them very briefly, or just a brief interaction. I'll get there. So I ended up passing on them. And so at that point, it was almost time for my John Bernthal photo op. Came out super great. And this is where some of my complaints come. They have the photo ops in the hotel next door, the DoubleTree, I guess. Although the DoubleTree's closed and it's being remodeled into something else. I don't know if it's going to be a DoubleTree at the end. But it's a DoubleTree, at least the sign on the wall still says. And they don't have a space for you inside to line up. So I had to stand outside for like a half hour in a parking lot with like no shade or nothing on an 85-degree August day. And yeah, and then you're like, man, like I'm going to get in there and I'm going to have a wet shirt when John Bernthal puts his hand on my shoulder or something. And who wants that? I mean, Steel City Con, got to do a little bit better than that. I mean, I'm not talking just put up a tent next time. The next con is in December. Like, are we going to line up in knee-deep snow or whatever? So, again, I mean, I implore, consider the David Lawrence Center. If you're going to be a big con, go to big con buildings. But the photo did come out good, and I'm really happy with that. And then almost immediately right after, it was time for my photos with the Pawn Stars. So I got right in their line. And again, really, really nice guys. Glad I got to meet them. And yeah, just a great, great experience. Then, on my way out the door, you know, there's a couple people following me out, so I just hold open the door because I'm a nice guy like that. And I realize it's Steve Downes and Jen Taylor. And I was like, are you off to finish the fight? And he's like, affirmative. And I was like, yeah, just because I do love Halo. I got to meet them at some point. And hopefully she just wasn't feeling her best this weekend and had the mask as a you know, an option, and maybe at another con she won't have it. But and it's not that I wouldn't get the autograph, you know, because of that. It's just I want to get a picture too. And it just kind of like, I was like, well, I'll go elsewhere. So then we're back in the building. I ended up stopping by the Steel City Con booth, picking up a little pin for the pin board and a magnet. You'll always get me to buy a magnet. And actually from the Pawn Stars, they had some merch, some baseball hats, and this cool little Golden Silver Pawn Shop comic book cover with all the guys in the space suits. Love how that turned out. I meet up with Dennis. You know, we walk around a little bit more. And from my friend Tony at Robot Zero Comics here in Geneva, Ohio, he was set up there, and I did pick up a Black Series Sabula. Don't know why I hadn't grabbed him yet, but Sabula was there, and I was like, you know what? It's time. So finally have Sabula. Going to get a review going on him. Not going to rush it. There's new stuff coming I'm going to put ahead of it because at this point he's not super new, but Sabula is coming. We did a little walk around the artist alley. I you know, always like going and taking a stroll around there. You never know what you're going to find. And I ran into my friend John Ruple, and I finally adopted a Jeb. He does some really cool art. The Art of John Ruple. I will do my best to remember to tag his Instagram or Facebook. I think he's more on Facebook. I'll tag something in the description of this video, but he has these Jebs that he adopts out for $1. Every Jeb needs a home, so if you see John at a convention, make sure you adopt a Jeb. I picked up some other pieces from him over the year. He has a really fun style, and it was just time for me to get a Jeb. So, love the Jeb. Of course, he signs on the back. But really, really happy that I've given another Jeb a home, or a first Jeb a home. Do I get more Jebs? But setting Jeb down, we then continued our walk around, and my last purchase came from Ian Wetstone. Here's his infos here. Go ahead and check those out. He does some amazing stuff. And the first thing I noticed is the "You're an Asshole, Frank" painting right there. Like, the scene that I'm just like, I love that, because that is just them. That is those characters, and I love it when they team up. And it's a painting. It's not just a picture. I mean, it's a print of the painting, so it's a picture of a painting, I suppose. But that's not a screenshot from the show. Like, that's art. And it's really, really good. And it just completely captures Matt Murdock's complete fed-uppedness with the Punisher being the Punisher. So I love that. And then I walk away, and then I see that Dennis is stuck. And so I go back, and Dennis is stuck looking at the magnets, where I then find a magnet I need. So also from Ian, I got a Anakin magnet, which is super cool. Like I said, God, the magnets. But that is my Steel City Con haul. I am super duper happy with how everything came out. I'm glad that I got all the autographs I wanted. I feel like any con that you leave, getting everything that you wanted to get going in is a win. I was nervous with Bernthal being a headliner. I was worried that something might not quite work out there, but it worked out, and that's good. And I'm a happy guy because of that. So super happy with all that. And like I said, you gotta work a little. I mean, pick the bigger venue, Steel City Con. That would fix all of my gripes. But, going over to the neighboring building and then having to wait outside of it. Like, it's a big building. Was there not another room available? And you have to go in this weird back side door, too. You go to the front door of the building, and they just have a lady stationed there saying, you can't be here, you have to go around back. And it's like, well, then, like, just lock this door and stand outside and point that way, like you let us, like everyone was doing it too. Everyone was walking in there and then walking out, and it's like, I don't know. It's the little things. I overthink these things maybe, but definitely some quirks. But Steel City Con, I will come back as long as you have the right guests and things don't get as it was, because the overcrowding and the lack of care over it was definitely getting old. So, not promising every time. I used to come every time. We can get there. It's open. It's possible. But I am glad that I went this time, and I'm happy I went this time, and I'm open to coming back again next time. So, that's where I'm at. That's my current thoughts on Steel City Con, and we'll see what the future holds. But everyone, thank you so much for watching. It means a lot that you did. If you enjoyed, like, comment, subscribe, all that end of video stuff, you know the drill. I'm going to go work on something else now. So until next time, may the force be with each and every one of you, and goodbye.